another episode of the Agogo series, and I'm your host, Agho, Gabriella. And with me are Osagbori Sunshine and Mabel Agana. So like always, you'll be reviewing a story, but this time it's titled Shackle. So I want you all to sit back, relax, and enjoy the next clip.
The world rejoices at his birth, but it grows gloomy in the dark, seeing how tied his hands are to the shackles of sickness that cages him in a shell of hell, that fills him with rage, fears, frustration, and depression. He began to ask himself questions, seeking for answers that made him wander around like a child in search of the Arodan novel. Why am I so different from the rest, looking so abnormal? I am just 15 and I'm suffering from the sickness peculiar with those in their 70s. Why? Why must I live the rest of my life on medications? Why can't I play energetically like my peers, but sit on one spot watching them play carefully? Why do I have to live my life like an old man while I'm a young boy? Why am I not free to eat whatever I want like other kids or teens? Why do people gaze at me with contempt whenever I pass by? Am I not inhuman? Am I an alien? What have I done wrong? Why am I suffering so much at my age? Why is my mere existence such a sin? Mom, Dad, do I deserve this? You all rejoiced when I came into this world, but now you have to spend millions to keep me alive. Instead of having to nurture a newborn, it now seems as though you've had an old-born baby who you have to spend so much on to sustain. Come to think of it, did I by any chance offend God in a previous life? If such a thing does exist, I am human. I deserve to live as one. I don't deserve these smirks, glares, and repulsive looks I get. Yes, I am sick, but I know I could do amazing things in life that those who look down on me today can't even summon the courage to dare. They said I am a victim of circumstance, but I know I can become a victor despite the circumstance, shining bright like a light in every sphere of life that I explore. I know I can become a shining star like every other shining kid or teen out there. But look! Even as I rested to free myself from these shackles tying me down, stones of insults, mockery, disdain aim at me like a clay pigeon, making me look woe-begone. Well, this is the cry of those who are faced with so much life-threatening, downcasting problems. It could appear in form of sickness, disabilities, and in various ways that are unsavory to them. These problems could serve as a shackle in their lives, tying them down from reaching their goals and doing amazing things and much more. They could actually do those things, they could reach their goals if they wanted to, but some are caged in a shell. All they need is your love and acceptance, not wrath or pity. They are humans created in the image of the same God that created you. Hating, pitying, and mocking them is like you hating, pitying, and mocking God. They might be sick, but not weak, as long as they live. You only make them weak by your scornful, sniffy, withering speech towards them.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the story and learned one or two. So we have a guest in the house. His name is Pentsunami.
Hello.
Welcome.
Nice
So I want to ask you guys a question. So how well do you think physically challenged person should be looked at or treated in the society? So let's start with you.
Cool. these people should not be treated as outcasts. They should be treated well and cherished. They should be protected and should be given high security. These people deserve a room to express themselves. I've heard of them Penkasi, who was once called a dollar because of his build and everything. He grew up and had life challenges that brought him down and made people see him as a dollar, but he never allowed his situations and life flaws to weigh him down. He kept going. He pushed himself above or beyond the situations of life. He never allowed the shackles of life to hold him down. His embargoes of life, he triumphed through hard work. There are people who are even worse than him, who are taking over life because they did not allow the situations to break them. I believe that these physically challenged people should express themselves and not allow life hindrances to weigh them down, no matter the situation and environment in which they find themselves.
They should not be stigmatized, they should be loved, they should be cherished, they should be encouraged. You get, because they are special people too.
I think physically challenged people should not be treated with scorn or pity and even mocked, because the moment you start treating them that way, you are treating God who created them like that. So physically challenged people in the society should be accepted as normal people as I am. So you should not make them feel like they don't have a right as a normal person does. So my last word here is that you should embrace them, you should treat them as one because they deserve everything that a normal person should have. Thank you very much.
Every human being is created equally, and as such we must treat all of them equally. We must treat people with disabilities with respect, kindness and love. We must care for them. We must not make them to feel segregated in our society because they are part of our society. Every disabled people is given birth to the same way you are giving birth to. So I will say, if you are to be treated in a particular way, you should also be able to treat others in that particular way. So it all boils down to treat people the way you would like to be treated.
But guys, we have another guest in the house and his name is Nathaniel Iwuofor. So I want to ask you guys another question. So what collective role do you think our parents and teachers can perform in ensuring that their children don't look down or bully physically challenged people and make them see them as they see themselves? So over to you.
Okay, thank you. Well, one of the ways our parents or our teachers can actually shun the idea of looking down on those who are physically challenged would be, okay, one, through sensitization. By sensitization I mean our parents should learn to teach children that being physically challenged is not actually a yardstick to show that the next person or the one close to you is inferior. Some or all times parents tend to teach their children unknowingly some of these habits or some of these attitudes, thereby they take after them to perhaps mock or taunt those who are probably facing one challenges or the other physically. So when they sensitize their kids or their children on the importance of not making these people feel less loved or important, then it will go a long way to help.
Okay, this is a rare opportunity. We'll talk about the physically challenged children and the society, and we'll talk about the parentage and how the parents can help alleviate the issues surrounding these physically challenged people. We must come to understand that these physically challenged people are humans, and that the parents should create an atmosphere or a kind of world where there is no stereotype. When there is stereotype, people tend to look down on themselves and lose confidence in themselves. So when there is no stereotype, these people can freely express themselves and feel among, feel accepted and feel received. When their children who grew up in the atmosphere where there is sincere love and there is no stereotype, these children will be able to accommodate, because when there is no stereotype, people tend to be open to sharing, open to smiling, open to living together. It therefore breeds what we call communal interaction, because there is no stereotype and nobody is looking down on anybody because of color or any form of deformation. So we must therefore ensure that our children learn to treat other children without what? Stereotype. And how do we achieve this? We must therefore imbue in them the spirit of love and equality.
As a parent, you are supposed to teach your children to treat everybody equally with respect, no matter how they look, no matter their disabilities. They must recognize the fact that they are all humans, and as such they must treat everyone with respect. And if we are able to do this as parents, I think it will go a very long way in changing this whole concept. And then as a parent again, you give birth to a disabled child. You are not supposed to start making the child realize these things, bringing it to their consciousness, bringing it and trying to like treat them as if they are not worthy to be your child, as if they are not worthy to be among your family. These are wrong treatments that we give to these people. And most of the time you see that these disabled people are depressed right from their homes. They feel depressed because of the way they are being treated in their families. As parents, we should be able to stop all these practices, all these behaviors, and be able to treat these disabled people with respect, with kindness, and with love. And then in schools, teachers have a very strong role to play in this function. As a teacher, you are supposed to mentor your students to also be able to inculcate some of these behaviors in treating disabled people. We are supposed to teach our students to also treat everyone equally. So most of the time you see children, especially little children, they tend to listen more to their teachers. So you as a teacher, if you're able to inculcate these values into your students, I think they will be able to adapt it and use it in the good sense, and try to change this whole concept. When they get home, they begin to also transfer these things to their fellows at home, to their parents and all that. And I think from there we can be able to bring about this change we are all clamoring for.
What an interesting program. I learned a lot from it, and I know you guys did too. So why don't you leave your comments down below and tell us what you think. I want you all to watch out for our next series coming out next week. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at I.G.O TV and follow us on our various social media platforms at I.G.O. Don't forget that you are the voice of your generation, so start and be the best you can be. We love you from I.G.O team.